Let's see. Yo, Burns early. Chris, Daryl, what's up, dudes? Let me message this lady back. About patches. That's correct size. Sorry about that delay. So he wants me to place my order. Not bad. All right. AJ, what's up, dude? Collect sore fingers and wood shavings. Brian, what's up? I am ordering this patch. This one, different color, but the one I stuck on the hat. We'll be ordering that today. What's up, Bob? How's the move going? Jeremy's got the coffee cup going. Daryl, you collect bud cans? Old stock? Burns, the only stickers I have are that one and the that one. So I got to get those. I got to get some more. I need to get the United We Glide. Scoper die would be fun. Jeremy doesn't collect anything. I have a, for some reason, I watched Adam Savage look at Star Wars stuff, which led me down another video of this guy that has this huge, I think it's considered like the biggest Star Wars collectible collection in the world. I watched his video, and now I get like toy hunting videos, and so I watched one this morning, and it was this, just dude going and shopping and going to like toy expos or something, whatever. And I was like, these dudes are like geeking out on this stuff. It's pretty fun, like watching these guys get all excited about Star Wars stories. But I have a pretty extensive vintage Star Wars collection from the original film era, 77 to 83, I guess, like that era toy. But I was like, man, I need to get rid of this shit. Not doing me any good. It's over at my parents' house, sitting in cabinets and all that kind of shit. And I need to. I was thinking about moving it from there and setting up some like tables and like an office over here, and like really seeing what's actually there. Or seeing what I actually have, because hell, I can't even remember. Because I can't, there's not enough room at their house to actually pull everything out and go through it. Can you explain why you like the open wire for a hook tie versus twisted wire on a spinnerbait? Yeah, I don't like R-bends at all. especially with lighter wire. I don't mind it if you're using like a heavier gauge wire. Um, but I think when you have a twisted wire with light wire, you get a little more longevity out of the bait. You might lose a little bit of vibration, but I think I think the security of the wrap is pretty substantial compared to the vibration lost or loss. Uh, but I don't know. Our bins always broke. Like that was always my issue with them. Is like the lighter the wire, the easier the wire to break. And so with the twisted wire, it seems like you could get a little more durability, and I could pull on a bait a little harder and fish a little harder, and not have to worry about my R bend breaking. Um, More of a Walker Texas Ranger. No, I didn't. I wasn't a cowboy dude. I grew up on all that fantasy shit, Labyrinth and Star Wars, and uh, that kind of stuff. Um, I had a buddy fishing one I built, and he managed to break one in the loop. I've never seen that happen. I've never broken one in the loop. I've broken them at the head, but I think that's just from hitting shit. Um, but I've never broken a loop because you're not really pulling on anything. You know what I mean? Um, that was a pretty impressive feat. Uh, but like War Eagles, I used to snap War Eagles all the time, and I never. Anytime I threw a War Eagle, and I know they're probably the number one spinnerbait on the planet. More people have War Eagles than any spinnerbait made. But every time I would be fishing with somebody and they had like War Eagle spinnerbaits, and I was like forced to fish a War Eagle, it didn't matter if it was brand new out of the pack. I always felt like the wire was going to break. Um, like I mean, looped wires will bend. I mean, will break when you just from tuning them. Um, but typically, you still have your loop. You know what I mean? Um, with the R bend, I feel like you've got a couple different places that your line can break on those, and it's never. Uh, I'm never confident that I'm going to get my bait back. Um, Travis, yes. Do you collect anything other than fishing lures? Um, uh, Local company uses piano wire and their spinner baits last a day. Yeah, I mean, with that light wire stuff, if you're catching fish on a bait, if you get a day, like if you catch them good, if you get a day out of it, I would probably retire it. If it's like a 28 hundredths gauge or whatever, 28 thousandths, whatever it is, 32 thousandths. But like piano wire is like 28, I think, 30. Mine's 32. Um, so it's not too small. But I guess the biggest con to a wrapped tie on a spinnerbait is that is you do tend to get line twist around it, like your line wants to wrap around it, and then it kind of weakens your line at that little where it loops. So you got to pay attention to that. Be a little more cognizant of your line being around your loop. Um, but I've never, like I said, I could never feel 100% confident in a and an R-bend and a War Eagle. Just too light a wire, too R-bendy. Didn't like it. But there's pros and cons to each. But I think the cons of an R-bend still are at least attractive to me. Here's the next question about smallmouth spinnerbaiting. Does vibration matter as much, or can you just use like buzzbait wire on a smallmouth spinnerbait and just reel it real fast? Because I've always thought that a spinnerbait bite for a smallmouth was 100% visual, like it wasn't a vibration thing. You just put little blades on it and a heavy head, and you reel it real fast. So I would think you could put like 50 thousandths wire on it and just rip. You wouldn't need like a light gauge wire. Jeremy, you might be able to comment on this. Yeah, see, Jeremy, that's happened to me a couple times, and after it happened like the second time, I was like, "No, I'm good on these. I'm good on bringing my wire back." If I brought the head back, I would be okay with it, because then I would be, you know, that if it was a fish, I could get the fish in and lose my blades. I'd be okay with that. But an R bend is do I even have an R bended spinnerbait around here? I'm sure I can find one. Maybe. That's an R bend. Like this, I would feel fine throwing. It's pretty heavy gauge, whatever it is. It feels stout enough that I wouldn't be terribly concerned. I mean, it's still pretty light, but I've used that super camo wire and just an R-bend. It's pretty impressively strong. Yeah, the issue with that, Morgan, is that that brown super stainless, you never see it. Like nobody pays the extra money for it. I think Picasso did. But that's what I was looking, when I was looking to get spinnerbait frames made. I wanted it like specific wire, specific size, rather than having to buy like regular stainless. And I think that's what they call that. I can't remember, but that shit was pretty damn expensive. Pretty damn expensive. And I think the minimum was like, I had to have like 10,000 frames made, or 5,000. And it was a lot. It was like a couple grand worth of damn spinnerbait frames. I was like, I'm good on that. But if you're really into selling spinnerbaits, getting 15,000, 10,000 frames made, you should be selling that in a month or two. So if you're really planning on moving spinnerbaits, so it didn't make a lot of sense for me. But the smartest Like I will always go down saying that the smartest, most well-designed spinnerbait to this day, and it's like damn 40-year-old technology, is the Stanley. They figured it out. They said, all right, how do we make this spinnerbait wire stronger but keep the vibration? We taper the wire. How smart. Because you get that heavy wire in the R bend, and it's still strong because it's like a heavy wire. It's not going to break on you, but you still get the little floppy blade section. Um, and even like a number 7 Colorado, Indiana. That's all I throw on my 3/4 ounce one, Chris. Ooh, this one I upgraded. Put the damn Stanley wedge on there. But like I said, that's typically all I throw. Not all I throw, but I throw that one a bunch. Um, but are there any old spinnerbaits like the Terminators? No, I was never a Terminator fan. Travis Stearman is a huge Terminator aficionado. Um, I was a Stanley fan, and then later in life was turned on to the Man's Classic. I've told that story before about me. Everybody, when Hank Parker was like destroying people on his spinnerbait when he was uh, getting his $200,000 royalty checks off of Man's for spinnerbait sales. Uh, Everybody was talking about, you need to be throwing the Hank Parker, Man's Classic, whatever. And I didn't know that everybody was throwing the damn. I didn't know everybody was throwing the damn 3/4 ounce one. So I went to the store as like a 12-year-old and bought, I think, a 1/4 ounce one or an 1/8 ounce. It was something small. I was like, oh, this thing's cool. And I liked it. It was compact, had little dotted eyes, it looked nice. And I threw it around. I never caught shit on it really. Like, I mean, I caught some fish, but it wasn't like groundbreaking. Um, and and the game changed when I was fishing. I wasn't fishing. I was my mom's friend was having she was hosting, or she was promoting and marketing and starting it was a American Lung Association bass tournament, and they had like giveaway packs for the anglers or whatever, and they had baits in them. And she gave me one of the little like giveaway bags, and I was probably like 13 or 12 or something like that. And she gave me one of those, and it had a Stanley wedge in there, vibra all that kind of stuff. And this would have been like 98, 97, 96, something like that. But it had this 1/2 ounce Stanley wedge spinnerbait that had like a number 3 willow on the front, and then it had like a damn number 7 or something, or number 6 willow on the back, big one. And they had like painted stripes on the blades. It was ugly as shit, dude. But I used to damn drill them on that thing. It was my favorite spinnerbait for years, and you couldn't find it because I think they gave them to her as giveaways because they were so damn ugly and they sold really shitty. But that was a really, really good bait, and that kind of sent me on the Stanley train forever. And then later on, my buddy Keith kind of told me, I was like, "What's the deal with the damn Hank Parker?" And I like looked through his box, and it's nothing but the big ones. And I was like, "Oh." So that's the whole thing? He's like, yeah, that's the only one, dude. I'm like, really? And I was like, so all these years, over the last like 20 years, when people have been talking about the Hank Parker, they weren't talking about the 3/8 or any of the other ones. He's like, no, you throw one of them, the 3/4. Who knew? Who knew? But then about some years later, you see like Jason Christie, and he's throwing like the big one. Like all the spinnerbait guys, if you really pay close attention to them, you see him pick up the big one. And then it all started making sense. And I was like, oh, I bet Christie was doing this shit over in Oklahoma the same time these guys were doing it here and everywhere else. He knew, and other guys knew, but why it's just a 3/4 that makes it better. I think it's the fall. I think it's the blade size. I think it's a lot of different things. But I mainly just think it's the fall and the vibration. A lot of blade gets a big bite. You're not looking for twos. It catches them. That's the thing about it. It's the Brower mentality. If you ever heard, I don't remember where I read it or heard it, but Brower said, they're talking about him like fishing for a limit, and he's like, I don't fish for a limit. And he said, I fish for 4 or 5 pounders all day. He said, I'm going to catch 2 pounders fishing for those fish, so I'm not worried about filler fish. He said, I just try and catch 5 pounders all day, and I'm going to get 2 pounders fishing for those fish. So that was the mentality I tried to adopt. Like I was that made way more sense to me to fish for a 5 pounder all day or multiple 5, 4 pounders than to fish for a 2 pounder in hopes that I caught a 4 pounder. So pretty interesting. Went 5/8, never looked back. There you go. Have fun, Tom. Speed up the 3/4 and it stays down. Gets down and it stays down. The thing about here is like it's not like you're never getting this thing hardly deeper than 3 foot. I mean, you might, but typically it's up next to a tree that's a 1.5 foot deep. So it's like a quick reaction. It falls fast and it's putting out a lot of water. And but if you're like trying to fish it down a tree, it certainly will stay down. But I'm typically not like trying to get something on the bottom or slow rolling, like out deeper than 5 foot of water, 4 foot of water. I would say I never reel a spinner bait, and that's just me. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of y'all do it. You'd see them come up there and grab it. That's when it's good. When it hits the water and it goes down, and you just see, or you pump it. Orange Blade. Which Stanley Vibrashaft model is the one to get? I liked the old ones. Which this is a baby wedge, but that was always my favorite. In that style packaging before they went to the eyes. Before they had 3D molded eyes into the head, that was my favorite one. The ones after that were okay. I just didn't like them as much as that one. They're very generic. Although I had. I don't know where they are. I dumped out all my spinner baits last week. I don't know where that box is. There's a big giant box of spinner baits around here somewhere. But the ones that don't have any eyes on them, they just look like a kind of a triangle shaped head. Looks like a wedge. But the blade was the wedge, but the head kind of had a wedgy look to it. Let's see what's on eBay. Yeah, the platinum wedge, those came out with the silver and blue pack. Those came out back in the day. I don't see any on eBay right now. And I threw those a fair amount, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't my favorite. Stanley wedge. Let's go to sold and see if I can find a picture. Oh, big collections. There you go. Those. No eyes. No nothing. Just a head with some glitter. Am I going with a bigger one else? Black collar blade. I did need to get around it. Red blade is from my land. Yeah, that was I guess that was a Arkansas, Oklahoma thing. But I didn't. There's guys down here that'll throw a red blade 12 months out of the year. They never stop throwing it. I have never. I don't have any like rhyme or reason to when I throw it. You know what I mean? Like, I quit trying to be scientific and be like, oh, there's a certain set of conditions that I pull this out. It looks cool when the water's cold early in the year, like pre-spawn. It makes sense because you think, fish eat red stuff then, so it's fun to try. But hell, they'll hit it in the summertime, they'll hit it in the wintertime, they'll hit it in the fall. It doesn't matter. I just think it's a mood thing. But I don't live and die by one. Like if I go out fishing tomorrow, or if I would have gone out fishing any time to throw a spinnerbait in the past 3 months, like, and I left without a red bladed spinnerbait, I wouldn't be like upset. John, I haven't. No need to. No need to. Travis, do you have a hard time finding number twos, anything that are good? Jeremy, it's good and it's good in dirty water. And like when they're it's like when they're on a colored blade bite, like they're really on a colored blade bite. It's just one of those things that you have to kind of just experiment with. But that's one of those that's one of those things that I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, or last night, or like I think it was yesterday when I was listening to Hallman and Castledine talk, and when they were burning on Panger's ass. So here's my thoughts on that situation, and like Panger being a Hanger being the finesse guy and them roasting his ass about being the finesse guy is that like all these like really specific things like a red blade, those are typically, you see those with guys that are spinnerbaiters. They're not wacky riggers. They're not out there with their spinning rods. They're not dicking off. They know that a spinnerbait gets them a better bite, and they know how to use it, and they're going to go around the lake looking for that bite. They're not going to throw a half-ounce spinnerbait with double willow leaves 4 times and be like, oh, they're not on a spinnerbait. They're going to figure out to their ability how to make a spinnerbait bite work. So, and I think that's how, like, you get your ass kicked a lot, but that's how guys catch bags. And if you're like in a spinnerbait place, you know, those type of guys and those type of things are for those guys that they don't fall back on a damn wacky rig, or they don't fall back on a shaky head. They have a lot of different combinations of shit that they throw as far as spinnerbait goes. Or they might drop down to like a 1/4 ounce with a single blade on it. Like, there's all these combinations of stuff and scenarios that guys who throw a spinnerbait a ton, that's what they do. So I think it's just one of those things that if it doesn't really work unless you get really lucky, that you go, like, if you've never thrown a bait with a painted blade, unless you get really lucky and you buy one and you go fishing and you say, I'm going to try this today, and you throw it and you catch one, that trip, that you get a little bit of confidence in it that you can catch fish around your water or whatever. But for the most part, it doesn't make sense for a lot of people unless you know what you're doing, or you know, you're trying to like find a very specific bite, and you'll go to down your checklist of things to try, you know, before resorting to a Senko. A spinnerbait guy is going to try 14 different combinations of spinnerbaits and areas and things and cover and all this kind of shit to present a spinnerbait in, rather than like throwing a half-ounce War Eagle and not getting a bite after 20 minutes and saying, yeah, that bite doesn't exist. But it's the same with you know, cranking, anything, any very specific fishing tactic you use. That's the kind of shit you see, is like, you know, there's little quirks and oddities that people do and use, that they'll use to force that kind of bite. Morgan, great example. We got a lot of spinnerbait water here, and if they don't bite the spinnerbait, I just downsize my spinnerbait. See? But I need to get my buddy Keith on here. He's probably the best spinnerbait fisherman I know. He's the one that really like kind of made the 3/4 make sense. But he's one of those guys that he brings heads and pretty much just builds them to as he sees the water. And I can't and I fish with him a bunch, and I can't tell you how many times he sat down in the middle of, like, during a day's fishing, he sat down and made like 6 spinnerbaits, all different. Um, but and he'll do some goofy shit, dude. Like there was this one day where they were, it was weird, and he kept. I think I caught a 4 pounder on this actual bait, and we were fishing in this ditch with some current going through it, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "I've seen this before," and he reached down and dug out like a quarter-ounce head and put like a single Colorado or a single willow leaf on it. It looked like a damn beetle spin. And I was like, "What is that shit?" And he's like, "Watch this shit, dude." And dude, sure shit, he threw it out there and just started hammering them. I was like, but like me or you or anybody else that's not like a spinnerbait guru would like we would have missed those fish, because you would have burned through there with your half-ounce War Eagle in spot remover and been like, they're not biting, a spinnerbait. Yeah, they are. Um, so those are like that like on the Patreon last time I did it about chatterbaits. Like I told y'all, if I would have told you the 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 days I've had the best luck on a chatterbait that they were biting a chatterbait, you'd have probably gone out there and thrown a chatterbait and not caught shit. Been like, nah, they're not biting it. Like that's not that bite. It doesn't exist. It does. But I think that's the difference in looking for uh, a bag and looking for bites. Um, a little damn quarter will get bit when not much will. Yeah, there's a weird time. Here's an interesting one. Pre-chatterbait, this is one of those things that it's pretty funny. Um, uh, I didn't know, but when you start having a little bit of success in the tournament scene, other guys that are successful see that, and then you're like part of the club, right? The you can catch them club. So then they start like giving you info, or not really giving you info, but just like talking freely, like everything. You know what I mean? Like you are in on all the juice, which you're not. You're just catching them how you catch them. And I remember this dude came up to me one day, and he said it was after a tournament, we'd done good or whatever, and he was really good, and he's like, "Oh, did you catch him doing this or something?" I was like, "No, caught him flipping or whatever." And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Man, I caught every fish I had on that damn uh, white spinnerbait with that single gold Colorado on it. Same thing that they do every year this time of year for the last 20 years." And I was like, you're throwing a single bladed Colorado solid white spinnerbait?" And I was like, "That's interesting." And sure as shit, like the next year I saw him the same time, and he was throwing that same spinnerbait, and I saw him in the same creek we were in, and dude had like 18 pounds, and I tried it like the next, because I was fishing every weekend then, and I tried it like the next weekend, and like it was in like February, dude. Sure as shit, like you could throw like a double willow, you could throw a double Colorado, you could throw all this shit, but that like you could throw a silver single Colorado, it didn't work. Like you could throw mouse, spot remover, whatever you wanted, chartreuse and white, didn't matter. That shit had to be white, not like sparkly white. It had to be white with a gold Colorado. And that it was weird as shit, but like when he said that, it worked and it was real. Um, I was like, no wonder you've been doing the same shit for 20 years. Um, but spinnerbait for me catches tourney size fish most of the time. When you need 5 and want to throw a moving bait, the spinnerbait is a go-to. Yeah, I think that's the difference, Travis. Is is when you move past trying to, or when you move into the realm of trying to target specific fish. I think that's when you learn, like if you like throwing a spinnerbait, I can target a specific size fish with this, and I know where those fish live and how they react. And I just got to figure out which combination of what is going to be that trigger for the day. And rather than cycling through, because I think that's really the only way to keep most guys, I think, that are really, good at what they do, fishing wise, catching consistent big bags of fish, is that you have to consolidate. There's too many baits and there's too many variations of baits to throw in a day, right? So you get good at something. So rather than like me, I rather throw 10 spinner baits, or I rather cycle through 10 crankbaits than cycle through a drop shot, a shaky head, a jig, a worm, a this, a that, a this, a this, a this, a this, a this, like every, like a fluke of all that kind of shit. Like rather than going through 10 different variations of different techniques, I rather take one and try and like really like focus that. Um, or whatever the bite. Like I'm not that I'm not that spinnerbait obsessed that I would like I'll try a decent amount of spinnerbait combinations, but I'm not a live by the sword, die by the sword spinnerbait guy. Um, we had 7 spinnerbaits tied on deck. There you go. We fished 2 derbies this year, and 8 out of 10 of our fish have been spinnerbait fish. The other 2 with flipping. Yeah, that's how much did each bag weigh, Morgan? Spinnerbait is as good today as it ever was. The thing about a spinnerbait for me though is it's never been uh it was never as good for me as people made it sound. Um, you know what I mean? Like I didn't like you'd go when I first started fishing. Every tournament you'd go to, there would be like 15 dudes in line weighing in that all said they caught them on a spinnerbait and had like 15 pounds. And like I'd throw a spinnerbait for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I didn't get bit, so I'd go do something else. But I think there's so many good spinnerbait fishermen down here. They just knew how to get that bite. Um, but it was never like one of those things that just like really jumped out at you. That was like an easy bite for me to get. Um, 19 and change, first bag. You've got to have. I feel like really good spinnerbait fishermen have a really they. It's a feel thing, and it's the same thing with any bait. But if you watch a guy that's really good with a spinnerbait, like it's not average what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they're very connected to what that bait's doing. Um, like very rarely do I see somebody that's good with a spinner bait just throw it out there and go. But it seems like the best, the most famous spinnerbait fisherman besides Jimmy Houston, Kevin Van Dam. Every time I see that dude fishing a spinnerbait, he looks like he's fishing a damn jerkbait. He's just going, like it's so spastic. I'm like, dude, how do you even get bit like that? I've never been able to like get that like very aggressive, like fast winding spinnerbait bite. Might be water clarity too. Um, Two spinnerbaits, a big one and a small one. There you go. So uh, I don't know. I think those, like I said, I think those there's those dudes out there that really connect with a spinnerbait and know how and where to use it and know all these different situations and combinations of blades and when to use them and all this kind of stuff. And and I don't think any of that is like with the exception of a few bites. I don't think any of that is like textbook black and white, write it down and make like a tour guide spinnerbait book. I think it's 100% experience and instinct. Like you just get that feeling. I should be throwing a single quarter ounce willow because I've been here before. It's like deja vu. It's like, you know, you like flash back to 10 years ago. Um, My best spinner baits come right before it's about to rain. I burn it right into the surface and crush it. Doesn't matter the size or color. I don't know that I've ever caught a fish like that. The day the spinner bait clicked for me was the day that I quit burning it. The day I let the spinner bait drop out of sight, and I don't care if it's a foot of water. I don't like it. Didn't matter. That 100% didn't matter. The day I started slowing down and like just kind of fishing it, it completely opened up my eyes to how to fish and catch fish on a spinnerbait. Um, no, AJ never throws a spinnerbait hardly. That's why you throw an R-bend. Yeah, I'm more of a twitch and pump. Like it's weird if you watch me fish like this bait, like 3/4. I probably work that more with my rod than I do with my reel handle. Like my reel handle's probably just taking up slack, but like I'm typically just like feathering it, and you might reel it a couple times and then don't. But it's a lot of rod and reel handle. But it might not look like much, but like your rod tip might not be moving a bunch, but or you like speed it up and get it to like run up and then you let it's it's a dance. It is 100% a it is a dance. It is not a um, something you just go out there and for me. Um, Megalodon from Jackal, big negative. Uh, wow, I would love to get on that bite. I've talked about this before. That I remember. I think this is what sent me down the wrong path. Spinner baiting was watching Jimmy Houston in his private lake in that like crystal greeny black water, and he would have that damn Terminator, and he would throw it out there, and it would hit the water, and he would just burn it in like this far under the surface, and those fish would come up there and just grab it. And I was like, damn, dude, that's what a spinnerbait bite is. And I kept fishing a bait like this, a spinnerbait like that, trying to recreate those Jimmy Houston bites I saw on TV, and it was awful. I never caught shit. I think it's also a water clarity thing. Um, 21 pounds on a finesse jig you couldn't feel. Oh, that's the worst, dude. When you know it's like a slow bite and you have to like somehow manage to do that. That is the worst. Travis, do you build spinnerbaits in the boat, or do you have enough built that you cycle through that you stay with like a certain handful? Um, Brian, I never fish a spinnerbait without a trailer, and I'm not picky. And I know it's blasphemy. I don't care what anybody says. A damn trailer hook is not my friend. Never has been, never will be. I feel like when they're eating and you've got the right shit, they're eating. Um, I don't know. It's just in my experience, uh, like if a 3-pounder is gonna hit it and they're eating, and you're throwing the right bait, they typically, like a 4-pounder is gonna eat it. Uh, and I think a trailer hook does me where I'm trying to put it. It causes me more harm than it does me good. Um, but that's my favorite, dude. Zoom, split tail. And I throw this damn rainbow colored one probably more than anything. It's just kind of a milky white with rainbow flakes in it. And I put all my, I got these from Bitters. They're like a little chartreuse tip one. They're okay. I don't, like I said, I don't get too picky. Uh, but I throw, I'll use the old blue shimmer. I thought I had some all white ones. I don't know where those went. But I put them in these little double-sided things. That's what I put my trailers in for shad, swim jiggy stuff, or spinner baits. Um, which one, Travis? This is not the juice. Yeah, that's pretty much what I throw 95% of the time. What's the color? The chartreuse one? Where am I at? Chartreuse with the big glitter. I've never gravitated towards the only one I used to throw chartreuse wise was the tab tail. I used to throw it. I think that was I think I was trying to be Ken Cook back in the day, and I bought this pack of Zoom tab tail grubs, and they were like chartreuse, and they had this, that was a big ass grub, and I would put that on my spinnerbait, trying to be Ken Cook, but I never could. I never could make the Ken Cook spinnerbaits bite work. That like he always had the blue like firecrackery looking skirts. I never could make that happen. Travis, did you have this box? What is this guy floating around on the bottom? Ooh. Ooh. It's a lot. Oh, look at this. Look at this over. Some damn blades. Biggins. I do like that flat rubber too. I throw a little dipper early in the year and then gravitate to a split tail or a curly tail. There you go. Zoom makes the spinnerbait trailer. I agree, Travis. I've tried others, and I'll use like knockoffs, like something similar. But I think Zoom's got it figured out. I think Zoom has it figured out. And that is another great item that fits the wacky band perfectly. It's a Zoom trailer. You want to do this little move like that. No joggers on there now, dude. You don't have to worry about your damn shit. You don't have to worry about your damn shit pulling down. You're ready to go. That's the damn titties right there, bros. Makes your life a little easier. I have a deep waterproof box with no dividers and bag my spinnerbaits by size. That's probably pretty smart. Pretty smart. Great Nico bait. Could see that. I got this one. Dye Co-Angler Flambeau box. I thought this was going to be the answer. But another 3/4. What is this one? Oh, there she is. Here's the old pre-spawn killer. That is her. I thought this was going to be the answer, but It wasn't for me. Yeah, there's hundreds of them laying around. But I don't have any for sale on the website because they're all here in my shit. See, Bob, take the trailers off and then they are watertight, so they seem to not tarnish out as bad. Yeah, that's the other thing is polishing blades. I've had good and bad luck with that. Even Hildebrands, I've polished the gold off of. You gotta be kind of careful, or you'll end up with a swirled up goldy silver looking blade, which isn't bad. But if you're really OCD, it may make you worry about which like, is this silver, is this gold? What are they hitting? They just get ratted up and look kind of shitty. Let's see. I got a bunch of them. Like that. They get like oxidized and shit. You try and like get some of that oxidation off of them. So they don't like, or just bring back some of the shine. Try to clean that guy up and it'll be silver. I got some really interesting blades in here that I don't know what they are. There's a falcon blade. It feels pretty good. I've got some blades with some really weird cuts in them. I don't know that I've ever in my life thrown away. I think you're right, Travis. I definitely think it is our humidity. Oh, here's that blade. Here's probably the Stanley wedge blade that I caught the most fish on in my whole life, and you would probably never guess it. That son of a bitch rocked their ass, dude. And the color on the bait was horrific. I wish I still had it. It was really ugly though. But that was the blade. There was two of these. There was one little one, like a number 3, and then this big ass one. I wish I could find more of them. Are you serious, dude? The whole bait? Or just the blades? There's the fade blade. Half gold, half silver. If you really want to destroy your mind, if you really want to confuse yourself, oh, look at these. New Albany, Mississippi, Pew Tackle. Dude, Travis, can't believe that shit, dude. I wish I'd have known. I would like to take one of these days. I'm going to take a bunch of my spinnerbaits. I'm going to disassemble them, and I'm going to like if I got like a road trip or something where I'm riding, I'm just going to take a piece of sandpaper in my spinnerbait heads and taper the wires just to do it. Good something to pass the time. Here you go, Travis. Just for you. How old is this damn thing? That's a damn relic. I sold some ugly ass spinnerbait blades back in the day. Like that thing. I am the painter, dude. I could paint my own blades, couldn't I? I would like to Excalibur. I never got into the Excalibur counter-rotating blades. It seemed cool in theory, but I never did get into that. Brendan, nail polish does not cut it around here. It does not cut it. Booyah has a counter strike. Does that really make any difference though? Like, think about all the thousands of fish that have been caught, millions of fish that have been caught on a non-counter rotating blade. And you're going to tell me that the blade's counter rotating matters. I don't know. What's the that's one thing I don't have any experience with. What is the perks? What does anybody know what the selling point of a counter rotating blade was? That's the easiest way to do it, Jeremy. If they bite it, they bite it. If they don't, they do something else. Oh, let's see here. You ever seen these before? I know it's blasphemy. Painted Hildebrands? With glitter all over them? What are these? These are 3.5s. Thought it kept the bait straight. Maybe so. Maybe so. Makes some sense. Those? Not really. I was going to do a run of spinnerbaits with those, but I didn't. Oh, here was my my good find. What are these? Number 4 copper, 3.5 Colorado, 3.5 Colorado. These, Morgan. Yeah, the House of Color pearls are probably the best anywhere on the planet. So these were an awesome find. So apparently Hildebrandt made these. I don't know how I got them or where they came from, but it is a black nickel Hildebrandt. But if you can read on them, they don't say Hildebrandt on them. It says our favorite reel company, Shimano. So I got lots of these black nickel number 4 Shimano Hildebrandts with swivels on them. Pretty cool. Really, 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 really nice blades. What is this thing? But I got a Hildebrandt off the ass, dude. That's not even. Here's the fishing Hildebrandt box. This is just all my loose. Like if a spinnerbait's worn out or whatever, or if I've got like used Hildebrandt blades, this is where they go. That are like something I would use. Looks like I'm out of number 3 Colorados. But how long have I had those? Not too terribly long. I think I found those on eBay like a couple years back. Seen those same packages in a bait shop on Hudson Bay. That's probably, I guess, where they came from, but I don't know why they would have been stamped Shimano and been sold for resale. That I don't know. I think I bought them as old stock from somewhere, but like I said, I can't see that. I can't see that Hildebrandt would send out black nickel Shimano blades for resale at a tackle shop. That just seems odd. Jeremy, that would be good. I could even taper the wire. That would be fun. I don't know. I bought a big lot. Big lot. Hundreds of blades, but it was cheap. What do they paint the blades with? I don't know. I don't know what kind of paint they use. No telling. No telling. I don't think they're powder coated. I don't know. Might be. Might be vinyl. Might be. Who knows? Anything. I could pull out some reserves over there. I don't know what Hildebrandt. I'm sure whatever Hildebrandt decided on was the best method for them to paint their blades is probably pretty damn good, because it would have to be in order to cover up such a beautiful finish. I wish Hildebrandt would make a little bit of a push to like be somebody. Taper the wire, dude. Yeah. Taper the wire. What are you doing on this one? I need pliers. Get my damn sandpaper out. I need my little round nose pliers to roll this out. Make a mess. Here's a really good tip for you dudes. Yakima, yes, Hildenbrand is Yakima. Hayden, thank you. What was that? Oh, I'll save that for the Patreon. I'll save that for the Patreon. That's a Patreon worthy tip. I don't know what the best, but the word on the street was that Lonnie Stanley had a bait factory, whatever, or he had his wires being tapered by hand in Mexico. That all those vibra shafts were done by hand in Mexico. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but seems like a lot. But it would be need a heavier grit. 320 ain't it. I need like a 120. I need to check the diameter first before I do that. See how much I can get off this thing. 0.6 millimeters. That's a lot. That's a lot of sanding, bros. I'll see if I can refine that process. That's what I was thinking, Travis. You gotta, I mean, depends on how many people you have sanding. I'd like to know the process. If they had something machined to do it, to where you just like stick it in there and it would like mill it down. I'm sure that's what it was, but sounds better if it's if it's by hand. But I would like to have that machinery. Wonder if I could have that built. Some sort of little milling mechanism to stick my blade in there. I mean, my wire. Couldn't it be made tapered? I would think that would be too much waste. Because you could only taper it for like this much, and then you'd have to start again and then retaper it. I mean, if you're making thousands of yards of wire, having a tapered 2-inch piece of wire every 4 inches or whatever. I don't know. Um, it's by hand, and he's only paying 10 cents per spinnerbait, about like shoe companies. Yeah, I mean that's the truth. Like if you've got 200 people sitting in the damn factory with their little process of doing it, I could certainly see how it's done by hand, especially 40 years ago south of the border. Um, um, I don't know how else you would do it. I would like to know the process though. Like the most, like obviously you could figure out how to do it, but I would like to know if you had to do 1,000 of them, and you had to do it by hand. What's the way? What is the way? If I worked in Mexico making Vibra-Chefs, how do they do it? Cut the wire in foot sections and taper the last 6 inches. Yeah, but I think you get too much waste. Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, how long is this piece of wire to begin with? So you've got this section that is 2 inches. And you've got this section with a little slack, a couple wraps. It's about 1 3/4 inches. So you've got about 3 inches of total wire, 3 1/4 if you're being generous. It's not very much. So if you're only using 4 inches out of a 12-inch piece of wire, I don't know. I wish Lonnie was still around. I'd like to ask him. I know somebody who might know, though. I don't know that he would tell me. Um, the guy who owns Mustang Wire, who builds all the spinnerbait frames for 100% of the companies in the U.S. An angled jig over a belt sander. I don't know. It's really an interesting thing to think about how you go about doing that in a timely fashion. Um, that would be interesting to know. That would be interesting to know. I'm sure modified drill to spin on the wire. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm guessing it was done after the fact. I mean, it would be easier to do on a straight piece of wire than it would be a frame. Um, I don't know. Extrude it from a tapered die. Schoolmaster, you are talking really advanced techniques. Could it be heated and stretched? I don't know if that would, if you would have to like temper it after that, and it would make your wire even weaker. I don't know. Yeah, I would think they would have something. Uh, if you had like that was always my idea that I was going to try to have made, was basically make it like a machined pencil sharpener. but for metal, and that would fit a 32 thousandths wire. So it'd be really small, but it would basically act like a pencil eraser, and you could just like stick it in there and like spin it, and it would just eat all that material away. Probably be pretty pricey, but I would think you could do that. You could do that. And then you could put that in like a drill press or some sort of anything that like spun, and then you could just stick your blade up in there and it would just shave it off. I mean your wire. I don't know. That's how they sharpen pencils in factories. They have a big sander and spin the pencils at an angle. The problem I see is that the wire bending. So like when you're heating it up and you're spinning it and you're doing all this kind of shit trying to sand it, you have to. I would think you'd have to have something to keep the wire rigid and keep it from bending. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to put this piece of wire on something that it's going to want to like get wobbly. What if the same diameter? What if it's the same diameter of the entire shaft and you just say it tapers for sales purposes? Oh, and everybody trusts you, and then somebody pulls out a pair of damn calipers and says, "Wait a damn minute." Hold both ends like a lathe. Yeah, you could do it with sandpaper. That's possible. You can just put a piece of damn paper on there and just run it down. But that doesn't help me, AJ, because I have pre-bent frames. I would have to get wire. I would have to buy straight wire and then bend them all myself. Yuck. Or I could just buy a damn Stanley spinnerbait for $7 or whatever they cost now. Oh, the whole point of me being on here was because I needed to dot I's. Now that all of our viewership has fallen off, I completely went on a damn spinnerbait rant. Forgot what I was doing. The 22s are done. You can only imagine what color I painted them, AJ. I bet you know. I bet I give you one wild guess and you go, ding, 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 ding. It's the only color I paint anything. Yeah, Stanley's still pumping them out. Do you use the back of a drill bit for eyes? Yes. I have my little collection here. Not for the pupil though. Not for the pupil. Young Brendan, not for the pupil. I think it's the only pattern you remember. It is. You mean this one? I'm thinking about putting a gill plate on the side of this. I probably will, but I left it as is to begin with. But I don't know. I'm still the old Southern effect. That's right. I think I will. I think I will. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know whether to break up the beauty of the like simplicity of it or mask mar the side of the bait with a dirty black gill plate. I'm thinking about leaving it natural. Uh, ooh, big yellows, tiny pupils. I like it. These look good. Teeny pupils. No, different color. This is this is very meistery as well. So here is what's cool about this one, Morgan, is that so it's got that transparent green shoulder. And what I did was it's got an underbase of a iridescent, and when you spray the green over the iridescent, it gives it a different look. But then I sprayed red over the eyes, so when light shines through the front of the bait, it reflects inside the paint, and it looks like copper green. It's like the most meistery shit you've ever seen, dude. Like in the sun, like as green as this is, like if you hold it up like this and you look at it, but as soon as you hold the red and it reflects back into the back of the bait, it's like 100% copper green, but with no scales. It's magic. It is magical. These things are hard as hell to grab. Um, so I also did the dot. It's got this purpley bluey hue to it. Dude, I'm telling you, when this thing gets cleared and you see it in person, it's freaking legit. It is legit. Uh, I see what you're talking about, though, AJ. Um, with the texture on the bait, I feel like when you put paint on them, it raises the grain of the butyrate. It's weird. Um, it's very weird. Man. What's up, Kyle? These were very. I would like to. I would like to have 100 more of these to paint. This was fun. After I got done yesterday, I was like, I want to do more colors. I need more baits. I need more of these. Gotta sand the grain back down. I think I'm gonna let these roll. They did kind of act like wood though. It was odd. Let's see here. Burns, this shit does. It's weird. Like I wet sanded them, and they were like really smooth. And then once I started adding paint to them, it's like the cut, the sand cuts started raising. Dude, these are the shit. These are the shit. Norman's gonna see these and be like, "Son of a bitch." You're gonna say, "Uncle Frank, pull your head out of your ass, bro. We need those." Oh man, this is a damn specimen. I almost didn't add a dot to these, and I put a dot on the side, and I was thinking to myself, that's not enough. And then I sprayed a little transparent pink over the top of the dot, and I said, it's too pink. So I sprayed a little blue over the top of that, and it has this like 3D purpley pinky ghosty effect. It chubbed me up a little bit. Kyle, it certainly is. It makes me wonder. Maybe I need to take your old job. Give me your old job. And here's this last color. It doesn't show nearly what it looks like, but it's like that you can kind of see it. But I kind of wanted to do something for those citrus guys. It's a lot duller. It's a lot duller in person than what it looks like actually. There's a lot more colors going on. The sides aren't clear. They've got like this goldy chartreusey color to them that you can't see. Still can't see it. The light like washes it out. But they have a they have a ghosty chartreusey side um, that will have to be photographed. I'm guessing now to be seen. Dude, these things are the damn titties. What a great collection. Good question, Jeremy. I'm trying to think what bait I've put that on. I did a lot of, I've done a lot of bull shads like that, um, which was funny because like when Mike was sending me all these like crank downs and shit to paint, a lot of the guys or just a lot of the swim bait community isn't like, they're just swim bait people. So they don't know crankbait colors, right? So I was like, when somebody sends you 200 baits to paint, it's like, all right, there's enough crappie out there, there's enough this, there's enough that. None of these guys they all throw their swim baits to look like something natural typically. And I started thinking, I was like, well, why don't I just paint all these like crankbait colors, citrus shad, and like just do like weird citrusy bright, like not even bright, but just like crankbait colors. And that's what I did on. There's a ton of bull shads out there with my paint on them that was crankbait inspired. This one's really sexy. It'll show up better on in a picture, but yeah, these were quite enjoyable. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at, Brendan. I was like, I've done enough of the damn bluegill and crappie and all this kind of shit. So I started painting them like bull brim, and I did do one. I think my favorite ones I ever did, and I don't know if they ever sold. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I did his little stubby or whatever his little wake was called, his little chubby one, his little short one. I did a run of those, and it wasn't many because I knew it would be like, I don't know who would get it, but I did a run of those, and I did them all in Roman made colors. And I did the one like the chartreuse with like the brown scale line down the middle, and then I did the pink one with the red scales, and then I did like all the like wild color Roman made uh, colors, and they looked like toys. Like it was really funny. Like you looked at them and you're like, oh, that's a Roman made, but it's like the fat little like cartoon version. And I don't know. That one was hard for me. Uh, that one was more fun for me to paint, but it sucked because I wasn't there selling them to try and explain to people, hey, this is why I did this. Like, this is what this color is. Um, All right, hey, all dotted. Man, what a sexy collection. I might matte finish some of those. I might matte finish some of those. I don't know. This one. What say you? I don't know that I want to matte finish it, but I also want it gloss so the colors show up better. Like I get more pop. I would like to have those, Jeremy. Yes, correct. John, it certainly is. You just take a flattening agent and don't use as much. And that is all it is. The more flat you want it, the more flattening agent you use. But you reach a point where your clear coat is diluted with to where you're just spraying non-durable flattening agent. So that's the more flat, the weaker the clear. But then there wasn't many of them. There was probably 12, 3 of each color. I think I did 4 colors. They were for shows like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something. There wouldn't have been many of them, and I don't think because they weren't like Instagram. Like they certainly could have made them Instagram pics, but they weren't like advertising pieces. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, look what I've got. They could have been if you would have had like a Roman made to put it next to and been like, check this shit out. It would have been awesome, but I wasn't there to do that. So, or I could just spray them gloss, and y'all could get your sandpaper out and clear them yourselves, or sand them up yourselves and make them flat. Marty Brink could be your future son-in-law. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. The problem is if I matte finish, am I going to matte finish the whole bill? Bill and bait. I don't know if I want to do that or not. To me, that's a lot of matte finish. Jeremy, I did see those, and those were beautiful. Like what he went into for the paint was very, very impressive. They were awesome looking. I think he should. I think he's trying to play catch up, because he's like, shit, dude, these guys are selling like shit really expensive, and I'm still selling shit for like cheaper. I need to like go like 10 steps higher. Piranhas look really good. But it looked like Matt kicked his shit into overdrive, where he's like, "All right, you want weird shit? Okay, here's a piranha. You want really nice fancy shit? All right, I can do that too. Here's that. You want to pay a bunch of money for some shit? All right, here you go." Why do I have to do both? What? Where's John's question? I think the best is going to be like 10 made and done. That would be cool. I like stuff like that. John needs a matte finished bait for his collection. Let me put on my spectacles. No matte finish in here? I must have took them all out. Oh, here's a beaut. With a shitty red hook on it, but it looks good. I don't even remember how I painted this damn thing. Look at those eyes. So I got any other matte ones? Matte Burns. In this box. Morgan, maybe. This might have been what inspired it. I think this was my color sample that I did. And then after I painted it, I think I painted this for myself. And then after that, I was like, oh, I should probably release that into the wild. So I think that's where that came from. Yeah, they look good with gloss. They look good. Some of them do. Don't mind the flatty. God, where's all my baits, dude? I feel like I'm missing half my shit. Here's a box. I know I've got more matte finished baits that I've done. Because I've got a they're probably over there on the wall. Yeah, that little specimen. They're probably in the same batch. There's one. There's a satin finish. Burns was feeling froggy that day. Look at that damn nose. Look at that curvature. Burns, you were getting real round on that one. The red hook because it looked good. No. When Matt finished clear coat, when legit Matt finished clear coat, like clear coat with a flattening agent, when it goes in the water, it does not turn gloss. It's flat. It reflects light, but it doesn't gloss over like a gloss finish that you sand down. That glosses. But an actual matte finished bait doesn't turn glossy underwater. But like I said, if you take a glossy bait and you scuff it up and dull the finish down, when it hits water, it regains some of its shine. It might not be as bright as like when you sprayed it, but it still acts like a, because what the water does is it fills in all those cuts of what you like. If you use like a 1,000 grit sandpaper and you've got, for ease of explanation, you've got 1,000 micro cuts in your clear coat, the water just fills in those cuts and just makes your clear coat look glossy again. Because that's the only thing that's making it not look glossy, is you're breaking down all the surface of that gloss to not gloss, because it's broken up with the sanding. But when you put it in water, all those get filled in. South Jersey went and sanded all his baits down, and then it was like, fuck. Damn pen. Where's my autographer? Every time I start talking over here, I forget what I'm doing and I leave shit laying around. Do a series talking about paint and color in the water. That would be cool. I don't know how I would break that down. That would probably take some serious thought into how to make it make sense. You would almost need a pool. But you would need some like National Geographic camera work underwater. It only pissed me off for a minute. No, matte, like legit matte finish clear coats are matte underwater. Um, but and I had two baits. Um, I've got pictures on my phone somewhere. I had an aquarium and I had a flat like the same jerk bait. And I had a matte finish and then I had a glossy one and I threw them in there and you could tell one was glossy and one was not as shiny. Um, but I don't know. And like I typically only paint matte finished baits for aesthetics, because it's something that I want to see or like I want that look on a bait. Um, but some of the northern guys like Paul Mueller, Elite Series angler, he will attest, um, that he thinks there's something to it for clearwater smallmouth. I think Jordan's talked about it. Jordan thinks there's something to it for clearwater fish. Uh, but I've talked to Mueller about it, and he definitely is drinking the Kool-Aid for fish up. He's up near you, South Jersey, so. Um, is there a matte chrome style paint job out there, or is it hard for the matte clear to adhere to the chrome? Well, it's hard for anything to adhere to chrome. Um, I mean, you certainly could spray matte clear coat over a chrome. Uh, I don't know what that would do besides just kind of give you a gray looking something. I mean, I could matte clear a rattle trap just for entertainment purposes. Um, Machine cranks from Canada are all matte, made for smallmouth fishing. There you go. Maybe he's in on it too. Um, Blueback. I don't even honestly, dude. I don't even own a blueback chrome rattle trap. Like I could probably dig something out, but I don't even know that I have one. Honestly, um, I could go buy one, spend $5, and then go in there and clear coat it and see what it looked like. Uh, Wait a minute, I did that. I did that. Hold on a damn second. Where is that damn bait? It was a lipless, dude. Is it tied on? No. Is it in here? No. Not in there either. It's in here. South Jersey, I have a matte finished chrome bait. Hold on. I did it dicking around one day. Because I took it out there and I got this foil shit. Like this, I think it was like a black nickel, or it was some sort of dark chrome, like heat press foil, and I pressed it on a rattle trap, and or not a rattle trap, but a lipless body, like one of those raid bodies. And then I believe I put matte clear on it. Let's see. Lipless. Where would you be? Over there? No. 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 Oh, this isn't it. This isn't it. It was similar to that color though, because it was dark. My when it comes to crank colors, translucent colors are the best for me, or bright translucent colors. Schoolmaster, with being a northern guy for Smalley, why is it you see so much finesse going on? And also, you guys throwing the handouts, jigs, and power stop fishing. That makes sense. Yeah. Where's all the? Will a spinnerbait not catch a 5-pound smallmouth anymore? Finally caught my first small of the year on a 110 plus. What color, Sean? We are all on the edge of our seats. Did you see Randy Blockett rubbing peanut butter on his mag draft? I saw the video. I didn't watch it. Somebody sent it to me. I think Morgan sent it to me. And I said, "This is too much. This guy's really stretching things." But if you put out 3 videos a day, I guess you got to have something. It's got to come from somewhere. Secret Night. Oh. Catch a ton on a spinnerbait, crankbait, swim bait, but the other 90% of the time the water is so clear you just can't flip around a half-ounce black jig and think you'll get bit. It's vital to get your bait away from the boat. Very interesting. That's a whole nother, that is a different game than I've ever played. I would probably get to my backer knot and it not be far enough. Already probably spreading peanut butter on his chub. Oh, probably. Oh. All right. The bald guy is going to go finish painting some shit. Still weird. Um, Sean, it's not funny, bro. It's not funny, bro. And it doesn't help that the light shines like straight on my head and it makes it look even more bald. It makes me look like I've got the looks like I have no hair here. When I in fact do have some hair there. Share with me, bro. Let me take you to Thailand and you give me, we'll do a little transplantation from the back of your head to the front of mine. Oh, I'm ready to see who. Chris, are you not like really excited to see how Panger does after getting roasted on that damn stream last night or 2 nights ago? I hate I miss that live, but I'm hoping for some act of God. Panger hammers their ass and just like puts his foot up everybody's ass and been like, eat a dick, dude. I just worked y'all's ass after everybody said I wouldn't catch them. I caught them. Castledine and Hallman and Castledine's buddy and Zach, whatever dude that just won the tournament on Dardanelle. Um, they were like ganging up on Panger for being the spinning rod guy on that he was going into the Open at Toledo with nothing but spinner poles, and pretty much telling him he was a. They were nicely saying you're a bitch. Castledine did have a pretty funny comment at the end. He asked Panger. He's like, "Hey, have you heard of any of these people?" He's like, "Sammy Sosa." He's like, "Yeah." Mark McGuire. Yeah. Uh, Hank Aaron. Yeah. And then he was like, "Have you ever heard of Juan Julio or somebody?" And he was like, "No." He's like, "You know why?" He's like, "He's the leading bunter of all time in Major League Baseball." Uh, so it was pretty damn funny. That was a good rebuttal. Uh, I guess it wasn't even a rebuttal; it was just a closing argument. Um, 17 spinning rods on your boat is excessive, and the thing about it is, I'm in the Castledine camp. I I I fish like he does. I'm you know I like I don't fish for bites. Uh, but the thing about it is they're talking about Hallman was talking about Panger being able to get like the people that get to the Elite Series and the people that compete in the Elite Series are those guys, the points getters, the guys that fish for points and they get points and they rack up points and they do well like that. But what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, all right, say you take your spinning rod and you get to the Elite Series. What's the point of getting there if you can't beat anybody? You know what I mean? You just want to get your ass kicked at a higher level for more money? Like, that didn't make any sense. It's like, okay, I can use a spinning rod to get to the highest level, but once I get there, I still can't win because I don't know how. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess in Matt's defense, he thinks that spinning finesse is the wave of the future, and there's a lot more tournaments being won on it now than ever before. Guy won on Seminole doing it. All the smallmouth tournaments will be one doing it, and he has a point there. But I think there's something to be said. But you know, Hallman and Castledine brought up the point that they're getting the Browers of the world. Those guys don't exist as much anymore. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, you see them win, but it just don't. I don't know. I'm trying to think before that. What was it last year? And I think they're going to a lot of places that lend itself to that type of fishing too. Um, like if it's like a spinning rod place, it's probably going to get run. But I guess Seminole was the, but Seminole was one on a spinning rod in 2004, drop shotting, or 2006, whenever I posted that clip. So that's not surprising to me when I saw the dude win in Spring Creek, drop shot and stumps the same way dudes did it in, you know, 2006. So almost 20 years prior, they were still winning tournaments on the same fish, doing the same thing. Um, but we'll see what it'll be interesting now that they said they laid it out and said, Panger, you are going to get destroyed on Toledo with a spinning rod. I will be interested to see how he did. Stearman, here's the deal. Here's what they want to say, but they don't want to say. Was Panger wasn't kicking ass at home. They're all sticks at home, and they did it. And the way you have to do that, if you're going to beat ass every weekend, if you're going to beat Castledine, and you're going to beat Hallman on Grand Lake or wherever he's from, and you're going to beat Castledine on Rayburn or wherever, you have to fish like a damn man. You have to throw big shit, and you have to win. He doesn't know how to do that. Pangrac wasn't a Castledine at home. You know what I mean? And I think that's the underlier that nobody wants to say is that like he wasn't Jason Christie. Like Jason Christie wasn't Jason Christie because he was out there with a damn Nico rig or Castledine or any of those guys that are like local badasses. Like none of your local guys are like that. And I think in order, like the pecking order for, you know, a lot of people, and I think it's maybe just like an older generational like mentality is like if you're going to fish pro, you fish local and you beat everybody's ass local. The next move after you get tired of beating their asses is you go regional. You get tired of beating all their asses, you go national. You get tired of beating their asses, you go to the Elite Series. You've worked your way up through beating everybody's ass. And I don't know that you can get past that. Like if you don't get past that local legend status, like I don't think like you're going to do that with a spinning rod. You know what I mean? Sean, we're not talking about catching fish. I'm not talking about catching fish. They don't say that, but I think that is the rub, Travis. I think that is the underlier that would maybe. There's no easy way to say that to somebody. You know what I mean? It that's just the way I see it. That's how I see it. Because most of the guys, I feel like, adapt. The guys that you know go well above and beyond, they start off as a local powerhouse with big stuff, heavy weights. They catch big bags of fish. They catch, they do it. And then as they get older, I feel like they adapt and they pick up spinning rods and they do shit like that. But like most of the names locally and like guys that we all grew up knowing beating ass, they weren't doing it with beetle spins, dude. The difference is, Sean, you say they're a local killer doesn't mean they can't adapt to a national, doesn't mean they can adapt. No, but they know how to win. A guy with a spinning rod does not know how to win. If you've never if you've never been a winner locally, no matter what you do, you don't know how to win. Period. And the way you win is you catch bigger than average fish than everybody else. And day in and day out, you don't do that with a spinning rod. Like up north you do, but like Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, like non-blueback lakes, you gotta know how to win, and you gotta get less bites, and you gotta it's a whole process, dude. Schoolmaster, when Christie won his when Christie won his Elite Series event on that when he was snapping that tube on the bait caster and 20-pound tester, whatever he was doing, was everybody like puking in their mouth? Christie closing, but Christie would not be Jason Christie if he started at 18 with a spinning rod. He knows how to win now. Not to say that he knows how to win throwing a damn a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait every tournament. No, but he knows how to win, and that's because he did it with all his other stuff, like big stuff. Jason Christie would not be Jason Christie, and he would not be famous in Oklahoma if he had a spinning rod in his hand that whole time. He would be nobody. Jason Christie wouldn't have been in the Classic. He wouldn't have had a chance to even win a spinning rod. But I think he's gotten older and he's realized that when to hold and when to fold. But the thing about learning to win is that's what it teaches you. Is that he's been through that scenario so many times. That's why he went down like that, because his whole career up to that point was him putting something big and heavy and that'll catch a 5-pounder in his hand and doing it till the bell rung, and it worked. He had no reason not to, because he didn't know anything else. That's how he knows how to win. And then, it didn't work out, and he's gotten older and he's learned how to like adapt his game to more suit professional fishing. Because you can do that. You can fish like that for 2 days. 3's pushing it. Two's even pushing it. But like typically the guys that really like rock ass, like it's you've got to mix it in other shit in for multi-day events. I think that's where the local guy struggles, where he has to change is that like going out and catching one big bag at home one day isn't that, I wouldn't say it's not that hard, but it's different when you have to do it multiple days with multiple pressures of fish, and that's when you have to kind of start changing things up. Sean, that's the other thing they mentioned, that they act like the bank is just going to be like the free range of like big fish swimming around for the plucking. Have mixed feeling with the you have to kick every ass in your state or regional tournaments, especially when you know people could easy fish on high school professional level. I don't know. I, I think you kind of do. You know what I mean? Like if you can't beat 50 clowns at home or 100 clowns at home, maybe your odds are better. Maybe if you're mediocre at home, you have a better chance of like, I don't know. I don't think if you can't win at home, how do you expect to win anywhere else? I don't know. I think, but I think that's probably the underlier why they give Matt so much shit. Is that if you read on Bass Fan every weekend, damn, Matt got another win on 10 killer on his spinning rod. That's win number 3 on the season. It's not though, unfortunately. Like I hope he could. I'm a big fan of Matt. I like Matt a lot. But I think that's the underlier why they give him so much shit. Is that it hasn't done anything for him now up into this point. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what the theory is. But I do completely agree with him, as they say, betting on the come, that it is the wave of the future, and that he might get the last laugh while all the bubbas are on the bank with their 20-pound test getting laughed at. I think there's certainly uh, that holds a lot of weight. Um, he is, Sean. Damn, 2.5 hours. I gotta go paint. Can't quit coughing. I think the bake is easier. I can put my local concentration on fishing, not how I need to lot of. Spinner baits and egg beaters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I guess we will see. Like I said, I hope Matt does really well. and I hope he kicks all the big line guys' asses just so he can tell them to eat a dick. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. When guys used to always claim that the Elite Series was the best 100 anglers in the world or whatever. Like, no, it's not. I can assure you, it is not. It's about 20 of the best anglers in the world, and then the other guys are just rich dudes with boats and shit, time, money, money and time. Yeah, that's how it is, Jeremy. A couple randoms will get sprinkled into a top 10 occasionally. Chub up over that, but for the most part, it's the same old dudes kicking the same old ass. So I don't know. I'm excited for the next couple hours to see the Open. Do they have any midday update on Bassmaster? Bassmaster.com. Oh, they have Bass Track at the Opens? What? Where's Panger? Ish has got 13, 14. I didn't know that. Upshaw 11. I don't understand Clark Ream. That's all that dude does is fish, and he seems like he always gets his ass kicked on Rayburn and Toledo where he like guides. Lots of zeros. I'm not assuming they zeroed. I'm just assuming that they didn't check in any fish. Not seeing anybody that jumps out at me. Greg Bohannon from the FLW days? Oh, sure as shit is. What is he doing coming back? I didn't realize that. Troy or O'Rourke? Who is this guy? From Louisiana. Good job, dude. Yeah, there's like 60 dudes that have checked in. Everybody else is non-checking in. What do y'all think Ben Milliken will place? He should do good there. I mean, he should be able to run his deal. I would think there's still plenty of fish out deep for him to go scope around on. But calling fourth or fifth place. Yeah, I mean he should be able to. I mean, honestly, if you got enough brush piles and shit, you should be able to do something. I don't know. I don't know how those fish act. They're probably. Oh, they're on Toledo, not Rayburn. I don't know. I mean, he should, like I said, he should do good. It fishes similarly. Lots of big fish in there. We'll see. Like I said, but I don't. That's just the old Randy Blockett in me that doesn't want to see somebody go out there and win live scoping. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. Can't fight it. I rather see Panger win with a spinning rod, fishing the bank with a wacky rig. All right, I'm going to paint. Y'all be good. Thanks for sticking around. See you.